There are some people on this earth who walk a different path. They carry a presence that feels larger than life. They speak, and their words carry ancient echoes. They love, and it feels like being seen by something eternal. These are the chosen ones. Individuals who seem marked by destiny, often misunderstood, often burdened, and almost always hard to love. Not because they are cold or unloving, but because their soul burns with a fire too intense for the ordinary. Loving them isn't easy, it's transformative, overwhelming, and at times deeply painful. But why? Why do the most spiritually gifted, deeply conscious, and emotionally intelligent people end up being the hardest to hold on to? Before we dive into this, if this message found you at exactly the right moment in your life, if you feel this in your spirit, type 1111 in the comments to affirm your alignment with divine timing. That simple act might just unlock a blessing you didn't expect. And if you find resonance in these words, consider subscribing. This space is for the misfits, the visionaries, the ones who feel too deeply and think too much. You're not alone here. Let's get started. 1. They feel everything too deeply. Chosen ones aren't just sensitive, they're open channels to the raw emotional frequency of the universe. Imagine a heart with no walls, a nervous system with no filters. They feel everything, everywhere, all at once. Their joy isn't just happiness, it's rapture. Their grief isn't just sadness, it's mourning for the whole of humanity. They feel the pain of the earth, the sorrow of strangers, the fear hidden behind a loved one's smile. Their empathy is not a skill, it's a condition, a way of being. It's like they were born without skin, constantly exposed to the winds of every emotional current around them. To love someone like this is to step into a world of raw, electric intensity. You can't just talk to them, you have to feel with them. You have to sit beside them in the depths of their melancholy and soar with them in the heights of their elation. Sometimes within the same hour. There is no emotional neutrality in their presence. Everything is magnified, everything is real. And if your emotional vocabulary is limited, if your own capacity to hold space is restricted, then loving a chosen one will feel like drowning in a sea you were never trained to swim in. They are not made for casual connection. They are made for soul merging, and not everyone is ready for that level of exposure. 2. Their purpose comes before pleasure. A chosen one is not here to chase ease or entertainment. They were born with an ache in their soul, a gravitational pull toward something greater than themselves. While others dream of careers, vacations, or lifestyles, chosen ones are haunted by visions of destiny. They are on a mission that they often don't even fully understand, only that it is sacred, non-negotiable, and relentlessly calling them forward. They are pilgrims in a world of tourists, always moving, always seeking, always sacrificing. Loving them means understanding that you'll never be the center of their universe. Not because they don't love you, but because their life has a divine trajectory. They will wake up before the sun to pray, meditate, write, or build something the world hasn't yet seen. You may find yourself longing for their attention during tender moments, but their soul is often somewhere else, interfacing with dimensions you cannot perceive. They aren't distracted, they're devoted. And unless you can find joy in watching someone walk a path that may not include you at every turn, your love will quickly become a cage. Their devotion to purpose isn't a threat, it's a reflection of their integrity, but it demands a partner who is sovereign, secure, and spiritually mature enough not to compete with destiny. 3. They see through everything. Being with a chosen one is like living with a mirror that doesn't lie. They have eyes that see beyond the veil, past the performance, past the pretense, straight into the soul. You might think you're hiding your fear, your insecurity, your quiet resentment, but they already sensed it. They read energy like others read facial expressions. They notice when your voice softens because you're hiding guilt. They hear what your silence is screaming. Their intuition isn't guesswork, it's a spiritual diagnostic tool that penetrates straight to your core. This is both beautiful and terrifying. It means they'll love you not just for your strengths, but in full awareness of your shadows. But it also means there's nowhere to hide. If you're used to masking, to charming, to seducing through illusion, none of it will work here. Chosen ones crave authenticity like oxygen. If you're not real, they'll feel suffocated. And they won't play along. They'll call it out, not to shame you, but to free you. Yet freedom is frightening when you've spent your life hiding. Many people interpret their presence as invasive or judgmental when really, it's clarifying and liberating. The truth is, being loved by a chosen one is a form of radical self-confrontation. And not everyone is ready to be seen that deeply. 4. They are constantly evolving. The chosen are not static beings, they are in a perpetual state of death and rebirth, burning through old versions of themselves like a phoenix in the fire. Who they were a year ago, even a week ago, is not who they are today. Every life experience, every meditation, every heartbreak, every dream reshapes them. They do not cling to identity, they shed it. They dissolve attachments. They seek transformation with a hunger that borders on obsession. Evolution for them is not an option, it's the default setting of their existence. For most, love means finding stability, a sense of knowing your partner inside and out. But with a chosen one, the person you fell in love with might not exist 6 months later. They'll change their beliefs, their routines, their circles, even their entire worldview overnight. It's not flakiness, it's transcendence. They're not running from themselves, they're racing toward who they're meant to become. But unless you too are willing to shed your ego, question your assumptions, and grow alongside them, you'll become a relic of their past, a comfort they outgrew. Loving them requires elasticity, a willingness to fall in love over and over again with someone who never stops becoming. 5. They carry wounds that aren't theirs. Chosen ones are often born into broken systems, families, cultures, and lineages plagued by deep ancestral pain. They come as healers, as breakers of curses, as spiritual first responders. But that sacred role comes at a heavy cost. They carry wounds that predate their own lifetime, depression that doesn't have a source, anger that doesn't have a target, grief that doesn't have a name. Their pain is collective, inherited, cosmic, and it doesn't follow a logical path. They will sometimes withdraw into isolation for reasons they can't articulate. They'll cry over pain that seems invisible. They'll act out ancient traumas you don't understand. And if you expect a clean emotional journey or a predictable healing process, you'll be left confused and disappointed. The truth is, their suffering is often not personal, it's archetypal. They are processing centuries of silence, abuse, suppression, and exile. To love them is to hold space without trying to fix, to comfort without minimizing, and to honor pain that isn't always visible but is always present. It takes a rare kind of strength to sit in the dark with someone who was born to be light. 6. They attract broken people and push them away. There's a paradox at the heart of the chosen. Their light is healing, but that same light exposes. And so, wounded people are drawn to them like moths to flame. They come for the comfort, the wisdom, the unconditional love. They see the chosen one as a refuge, a healer, a lighthouse in a storm. But what starts as admiration often turns into projection, because being near a chosen one doesn't just soothe, it reveals, it reflects, it awakens wounds that have long been buried. Most people say they want healing, few are prepared for what it demands. When the chosen one unknowingly triggers unresolved pain, people begin to retreat. They accuse them of being too intense, too emotional, too honest. They lash out, withdraw, or even demonize the very person who tried to help them heal. This creates a painful pattern for the chosen one. They become a sanctuary, then a scapegoat, and so they learn to protect their energy, to become selective about who they let in. Loving them means understanding that their boundaries are not rejection, they're survival. You must prove that your presence is not just attraction to their light, but also a readiness to stand in your own shadow. 7. Their standards are not of this world. Chosen ones don't desire luxury, validation, or superficial status. They crave depth, alignment, integrity, and growth. They cannot tolerate inauthenticity, manipulation, or emotional laziness. That makes them difficult to please in a society built on appearances. Their standards seem too high because they measure love by the soul, not by convenience, wealth, or charm. If you're not willing to grow, to be real, you won't survive in their energy for long. 8. They're not meant to be owned. You don't possess a chosen one. They belong to the universe. They are lovers, yes, but also teachers, healers, messengers. They're not here to be someone's everything, they're here to awaken. Many people, driven by insecurity or attachment, try to cage what was meant to fly. But chosen ones don't thrive in cages, no matter how beautiful they are. To love them is to set them free again and again, trusting that if they return, it's because the soul recognizes you as part of the mission, not just part of the story. If you've ever tried to love someone like this, or if you are someone like this, you already know how rare and sacred this energy is. The chosen ones aren't perfect. In fact, they're often scarred, restless, and misunderstood. But their hearts beat with something eternal. Loving them isn't for the faint of heart, but for those who are ready. It's a journey that will awaken every part of your soul. This is the Chosen Seer channel. If this message found you in divine timing, if something stirred in your spirit, don't forget to type 1111 in the comments and subscribe, because this isn't just a video, it's a signal, and you're not alone anymore. Thank you for watching.